Most AI initiatives don't fail because the technology didn't work. They fail before anyone even gets to test the technology, and the reasons are rarely technical. They're organizational, they're political, they're human. Before we get into it, a quick note. What you're watching is an AI clone of Ronald, the founder of datawonder. This is intentional. At datawonder, we build AI automations and voice agents for real businesses, restaurants, service companies, operations-heavy organizations. AI is already part of how we work every single day, so using it here on this channel is not a statement, it's just consistent. If you're a business owner or operator trying to cut through the noise around AI, not the hype, just the honest picture, this channel is for you. Subscribe if that's what you're looking for. Now, back to the real question. Why do AI initiatives stall? If you've been inside a company that tried to implement AI in the last 2 years, you probably recognize this pattern. Leadership announces the initiative. There's enthusiasm. A budget gets allocated. A vendor gets selected. A pilot project launches. And then, slowly, quietly, it stops moving. Nobody officially cancels it. It just loses momentum. The meetings get rescheduled, the updates stop coming, and eventually, everyone moves on. Most executives assume the problem was the technology. They'll say, it wasn't accurate enough, or the integration was too complex, or we weren't ready. But those are symptoms. The actual problem started much earlier, usually in the first meeting where someone decided this was an IT project. Here's what actually happens inside companies when AI initiatives begin. The initiative gets assigned to a department, usually IT, sometimes a newly created digital transformation team. That team is given a mandate. Implement AI. They choose a tool, they run a pilot, they report results. And right there in that structure is the first place things break down. Because AI is not an IT project, it is a business change project that requires technical tools. That distinction matters more than most people realize. When IT owns AI, they optimize for what IT cares about: security, integration, cost management, uptime. Those things are necessary, but they're not sufficient. The business outcomes, the reason you started the initiative in the first place, are being managed by people whose primary job is infrastructure. The second breakdown happens when the initiative meets the middle layer of the organization, middle managers. This is not a criticism, it's an observation. Middle managers are measured on department performance. Their incentive is to protect their team's productivity. And AI, in its early implementation phase, reliably disrupts productivity before it improves it. So what do middle managers do? They slow things down. Not consciously, not as sabotage. They ask for more time to train the team. They flag edge cases that need to be resolved before rollout. They request additional review cycles. Each of these requests is individually reasonable. Collectively, they stall the initiative. And here's the part that almost never gets discussed in public. The people who use the AI tools day to day often aren't the people who decided to implement them. A voice agent gets deployed in a customer service team. The team lead wasn't part of the decision. The agents weren't consulted. And now they're responsible for handling situations where the AI gives wrong information. Where does accountability sit? Nobody knows. This is where the second-order consequences start to appear. When accountability is unclear, people create unofficial workarounds. They develop manual checks on the AI's output. They add extra steps to validate what the system produces. Which means the AI is running. The automation is technically live. But the team is still doing the same volume of work, sometimes more, because now they're managing both the old process and the new one. If you're finding this useful, a like on this video helps it reach more business operators asking the same questions. This pattern has a name in organizational theory: shadow process. The official process says one thing, the actual workflow is something else. And in AI implementation, shadow processes emerge almost immediately precisely because the initiative moved faster than the organization could adapt. You see this most clearly in companies where the AI tools were deployed across departments without coordinated rollout. Marketing uses one AI platform, sales uses another. Operations built a custom automation 6 months ago that nobody else knows about. Finance is running everything manually because they didn't trust any of the options. And now you have 4 different data environments, 4 different logic systems, and no unified picture of what's actually happening inside the company. Leadership asks, how is the AI initiative progressing? Nobody has a clean answer. The honest reality is this. Most companies underestimate how much organizational preparation AI actually requires. They treat it like a software rollout. You buy the license, you install the system, you train the users, you go live. But AI is not passive software. It makes decisions. It influences outputs. It changes what work looks like for the people using it. And if the organization hasn't clearly defined who owns those decisions, who validates those outputs, and who adapts when things go wrong, the initiative will stall. Not because of the AI, because of the gap between where the technology is and where the organization is. The companies that succeed with AI, not in press releases, but in actual operational improvement, share one pattern. They start with a narrow, well-defined problem. One process, one team, one clear outcome. They measure ruthlessly, they iterate quietly, and they treat the first implementation as a learning loop, not a success story. They don't announce it company-wide. They fix it until it works. Then they expand. That's a slower approach. It feels less impressive in a leadership update, but it's the approach that actually builds capability inside the organization, instead of just adding another tool that nobody trusts. So before your next AI initiative, or before you restart the one that stalled, ask these questions internally. Who owns the business outcome this AI is supposed to produce? Not who owns the tool. Who owns the outcome? What does accountability look like when the AI is wrong? Not in theory, in practice. And are the people who will use this system part of the decision, or are they just the recipients of it? If you can't answer those 3 questions clearly, the initiative will stall. Not eventually, probably soon after launch. What I've seen across multiple implementations is that the stall is never random. It always traces back to a gap between the layer that decided and the layer that executes. Close that gap first. The technology is not the bottleneck. The organization is. I'm curious where you are with this. Leave a comment below. Are you in the middle of an AI initiative right now? And where is it actually stuck? Not the official version, the real one. If you'd like to explore how AI can work practically inside your business, you can book a free call with me. The link is right below this video.